Investigation further revealed that there was no provocation by Robert Brooks that would have precipitated any physical response whatsoever, never mind the physical response that was inflicted upon him. I think any sentient human being looking at the tapes naturally comes to the conclusion that he must have said something, he must have spit at the officers, he must have resisted in some way, and the fact of the matter is he did absolutely nothing.
Hey y'all, Chantel Red, the grown-ass teenager here. I just want to say, if you are a sensitive person, go get your tissue right now. Go get the tissue. Pause it and go get the tissue, because this is sad.
The top prosecutor on the case speaking about the brutal beating.
Our investigation further revealed that there was no provocation by Robert Brooks that would have precipitated any physical response whatsoever, never mind the physical response that was inflicted upon him. I think any sentient human being looking at the tapes naturally comes to the conclusion that he must have said something, he must have spit at the officers, he must have resisted in some way, and the fact of the matter is he did absolutely nothing.
Late this afternoon in a Utica courtroom, 9 men went before a judge to answer charges. They range from murder and manslaughter to tampering with physical evidence. All of the defendants pleaded not guilty. The court action took nearly an hour and a half as each of the prison staffers who faced charges entered the courtroom, went before the judge, and had their individual cases handled, including bail being set. Tonight, we have team coverage. Our Rachel Culver has new information from the top prosecutor, revealing new details about what the grand jury heard and saw.
There's a lot more disturbing about the tape, and to me the disturbing is the sense of normalcy, the way that everyone was just going about their business as if this was acceptable behavior.
Thursday afternoon, Onondaga County DA Bill Fitzpatrick addressed the media following the arrest of several former correctional employees charged in Robert Brooks' death. Just behind the podium sat his family, Robert Brooks Jr., calling for justice.
Indictments are an important step towards accountability. These men murdered my father. It was on video. The whole world got to see it. Waiting a month for these charges have been extremely hard, but these men need to be prosecuted and convicted of the crimes they made.
The Onondaga County DA outlined brutal medical details of how Robert Brooks was beaten 3 times, ultimately leading to his death.
Robert died of massive beating to his body, both externally and internally. Several of his internal organs were bruised. His hyoid bone was fractured. His thyroid cartilage was ripped. He also died as a result of repeated restrictions to his airways, causing severe brain damage. And finally, he died by choking on his own blood.
Brooks Jr. emphasized the need for systematic change to prevent such incidents in the future.
But speaking on behalf of his dad, is an outstanding young man that I'd like to ask to come up and say a few words to you, and that's Robert Brooks.
Any person with authority who allows abuse and violence to go on for so long also needs to be held accountable. And I pledge, and my family pledges, to not stop until we see change into how our state prisons are operated, and that this no longer has to go on anymore, and no one has to face what me and my family have faced.
DA Fitzpatrick points out that this is still an active investigation and that others seen in the body camera footage from Marcy Correctional could still face charges.
Let me first say this. I'm guilty because I assumed it was like an assault on staff or something, and then they just took the shit way too far. So you mean to tell me they beat that man to death with their bare hands for nothing? For no reason at all? So this was definitely a lynching. A modern day lynching. And then how, after watching that video, after knowing what they did, could they still plead not guilty? Like, they should have took a plea. I mean, I'm glad they didn't take a plea because they need to get all the time that they deserve. And I hope that a plea bargain is off the deal. And after watching this, I hope that them bails is getting revoked. They need to revoke them bails and put them men in jail right now, today. And let me just say this, because everybody's talking about what he did to get in there and all of that. Okay, so he stabbed up his girlfriend. However, he was convicted of that crime, and he was 8 years in on his 12-year sentence for that crime. So absolutely not. He didn't deserve that. And I don't think nobody deserves to get their ass beat like that, to get beat to death while you're cuffed, while you're defenseless. Well, let me take that back. There are people that deserve to get beat like that, and they are child abusers and child molesters. Anybody who does something to a little child, a baby, should definitely have that fate. And I stand on that. The top prosecutor was saying they was just acting like everything was normal, going on about their normal life. That's because this is not their first time doing this. This is normal to them. They've been doing this and nothing has been happening to them. They haven't had any accountability. So of course they walking around like nothing's going on, because they just assumed that this was going to be just like the other ones and nothing was going to come out of it. But somebody leaked that camera footage, that body cam footage, and all hell has broken loose for them. And they still pleading not guilty. The way they got cameras all over New York City's jails, they should have cameras all over New York State prisons. It definitely seems to be a lot of suicides going on nowadays in these prisons. So all of that stuff needs to be investigated, because all of a sudden everybody wants to kill themselves. Shit don't sit right. And then the news reporter said that other people that was seen in the body cam footage video could face charges. Could? They should face charges. Like, they need to switch that up. Not could. They better be facing charges. What do you mean? They sat there and watched and did nothing. They are accessory to the crime. They need to get accessory to murder or conspiracy to commit murder. And that's all I got to say about that, folks. Until next time.